What do you say? How do you say? I'm just about to see another day. I go by the name of Terror the Barber, and this is Razor Sharp Podcast. Today we have Aush the Barber. I said it right?
Absolutely. Aush,
Uh,
Aush the Barber. Yeah.
Aush the Barber in the building. So who is Aush? I got my notes right here. Chill, don't play me right there. Aush is the owner, the producer of I Cut My Way Out podcast, also Beard Culture Apparel, also the Beard Culture Barbershop, and the owner and creator of the Evolution of the Barber documentary.
Absolutely.
So we
Absolutely.
just want to salute you, my brother, for coming on board today. What is going
Appreciate it.
on?
Man, not a whole lot, man. Hanging in there, man. How you doing?
I'm blessed and highly favored, my brother. I cannot
That's what's up.
complain.
First and foremost, man, I want to say thank you, man, for allowing me to be part of this platform. You've had some amazing barbers, and so I'm just honored to be a part of platform and be a guest on your platform. So I greatly appreciate it.
Thank you, my brother. So we gonna get it started like this. How long you been cutting?
I've been cutting now for about 25 years.
He said about.
Like
You
yeah,
mean about?
about 25 years licensed.
Okay.
Um, Growing up, it was something that I played around with. My uncle was a barber at a legendary barbershop here. And so I was around the culture growing up, and in our culture, it's just something that's big, always has been big. Haircuts um, is huge in our culture and in our community. So having a chance to be around the culture, the bug bit me early, and it was something that I played around with and went to barber school in '99. But I
Okay.
didn't jump right out cutting hair full time. So I still cut. So when I say about, um, I've been licensed for a little over 25 years now.
Okay. So what got you into cutting hair though? Was there somebody? I know you have family members that was in the shop, but who who gave you that first that first look that made you want to be interested in it?
So, like I said, starting then, it was one of those things that it really grabbed me. But then I had a close friend, one of my best friends, was considered the best barber in town. He passed in '08. We're coming up on the anniversary of his death. So he always did it. And then I had another barber by the name of Brother Timothy. So my homeboy that passed, Manuel, we call him Miel Turner, RIP to him. And then
R.I.P.
Brother Timothy was another brother who was real cold. And so he used to cut me for a number of years. And so he was the one that actually gave me the information to the barber college that I went to. We didn't have one locally. So myself and another friend had to travel about 130 miles to go to barber college every day,
Wow.
for 9 months, man. So we were committed to it and did it. But watching my homeboy do it every day, watching the freedom and the ability to just create your own environment and kick it with your people was something I always found fascinating, even back when I was a child.
That's what's up. That's what's up. So what's the first pair of clippers you ever picked up?
First pair of clippers, Andy's Masters.
And it's Masters.
Yep, yep,
Okay,
yep,
okay.
yep.
And
First pair of
where,
clippers.
where did you get them from?
I was gifted. My stepdad at the time gifted them to me.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. He said he had had them when he was in the military, so I was interested in it, and he gifted me the Andes Master. And so that was at the time when you didn't have a liner, so you had to play with it and manipulate the blade, make it sharp enough to try to create a lining and the whole nine. So it served. It was multi-purpose.
And what age were you?
I was probably about 11, 12.
11,
Yeah, yeah,
12.
11, 12. Yeah, yeah,
Wow, okay.
yeah.
And what age did you go to barber school?
I went to barber school. I was in my early 20s
Okay.
when I went to barber school. Like I said, we didn't have one here. My story, I grew up, I was a sports guy. I was big in basketball. That was my thing. I was known in the area as a hooper. So that was my thing. And even though I enjoyed cutting hair, that was my passion and that's what I really wanted to follow. So I didn't take barbering serious. So I played with the clippers early, kind of put them down, didn't do a whole lot. as a teenager, and then my early 20s jump back into it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what was your experience as far as college? I mean, excuse me, as far as barber school.
Barber school. So interestingly, and shout out to Peoria Barber College, but it really wasn't. It ran more like a barbershop, to be honest. It we didn't do theory, we didn't do those things. So you had to be disciplined. You came, you cut hair, and since I had already cut some, I was more familiar than some people coming in. But you didn't, because it was in um, the hood per se, you really didn't have an opportunity to have diverse clients. So you had more diversity in terms of students. But if there was a Caucasian client come in, then the Caucasian student would get that head, and vice versa. So it was really just about achieving the hours to get the license, to be totally honest.
Hmm.
And so,
What
like Will Stam, that's why I love what he does in regards to the teaching and what he's able to show in the reels, excuse me, and how in depth he gets. Because to be honest, I didn't get that.
what state was you in college at?
So I'm in Illinois. I'm in Champaign, Illinois.
Campaign.
So yeah, I'm in Champaign. That is 130 miles south of Chicago. So I was going to Peoria, Illinois, is where the Barber College was, because for about 40 years, we didn't have a barber college here, only cosmetology. And I wasn't interested in the cosmetology part of it. I didn't want to do curler sets and, manicures and pedicures, that type of thing. I was just interested in barbering.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
So for 40 years they didn't have no barber schools at all,
Nope.
just
Nope.
cosmetology?
That's it.
Do you
That's
do
it.
you know what year did they implement barber school, barber
So,
college, you
so,
said?
so a guy I used to work with and known all my life. We small community, college town. He ended up opening a barber college about 2 years ago. It's been about 2 years. Yeah.
Wait, hold on, hold on. You said so you only had so how long have you had your license?
So I went to Peoria. I had
Huh.
to, yeah, I had to travel. I had to actually travel 130 miles one
Mhm.
way every day for a 9 month period in order to get my license.
Okay.
So a lot of barbers in the town, they would go the cosmetology route, but I didn't have any passion to go the cosmetology route. I wanted to do what I was passionate in doing, and that was cutting hair. I didn't want to do all the other things. My friends would tell me the experiences they had in cosmetology school, where it really didn't incorporate, a whole lot of barbering.
Do you regret not going to cosmetology where you could learn how to do rolling sets and how to do color and shear work and stuff like that?
Um, the sheer work, but in all honesty, a barber college should, it should incorporate sheer work. To be honest, no, I don't, because I'm one of those guys. You had people in the town who were going, and they continued to fail their tests because they weren't interested. They just wanted to do the barbering side. So
Yeah.
I was honored that I got a chance, and I was disciplined enough to hit that highway with a friend and go back and forth to do the barbering, because I didn't want to get into something that I wasn't, um, truly passionate about. And so all
Uh,
those other things. Also, to be honest, it was at that time before gas prices and all that hit. I only paid $3,200 for barber college. It was the best $3,200 I've ever spent.
3,200. Wow.
$3,200.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice, nice. So how was the test in did you have to take the practical and the written test?
So in the state of Illinois, you don't have a practical. You just have a written test, and that's all.
Whoa, okay.
Yep. 60 multiple choice questions. And so that was the other part. With cosmetology, they had 100 questions. It was multiple choice. They had all that. And so
Mm.
guys who weren't into that, I guess didn't study. And like I said, they were, failing and things of that nature. So I was able to just hone in on what it is that I wanted to learn.
Okay, okay. So once you pass your test and you got your license, was you already cut it in the shop before you got your license, or you only focus on school and then got into a shop? How that
So,
how that
so,
went?
so I would come home and I was cutting at home. So for a long period, I was cutting at home. I went into a barbershop for a quick second. And then I bagged out of that. I had two experiences. Me and the friend I went with, we ended up joining teams with a lady in an outside town, about 13 miles out. She had a small salon, so we ended up teaming up. We took half of the salon, she took the other half, and we created our own barbershop. Did that for about 6 months. Started real fast, but ended up slowing down.
Hmm.
Backstory behind that. Went to local shop where my buddy was at, and friends and guys knew in the community. Only did that for 3 months because at that particular time I was used to working in settings, so I understood professionalism and things of that nature. And so I had clientele at that time, church folk and things of that nature that weren't comfortable coming in the environment. So I ended up pivoting and going to work in the local school district. And I ended up working in the local school district in various positions as well as coaching basketball for a little over 20 years. So what I did,
Wow.
I cut at home and I worked in the local school district at the same time for a little over 20 years.
So when did you get into a barbershop then? Because I know you had beard coach at barbershop, right?
So beard coaches. So check this out. So after I stopped barbering, and I take that back because me and my friend who ended up going to the place and ran to, I told you, 13 miles away. He ended up opening a barbershop. I helped him. We got in there together. Then I got the opportunity to coach. So I went to the school system. I started coaching, and so 20 some years I did that. I coached part time. So in 2018, my middle son, he went to barber college. He had
Okay.
gotten out of barber college. He also had to. We had to send him to Bloomington Normal, Illinois, where Illinois State College is, because we didn't have a barber school at that time. So
Wow.
my middle son had to go live over there and go to school. So when he came back, got in the barber shop. So I'd taken another job in human resources and on lunch because the parking at the university was so crazy. My son would come and get me, take me to the barber shop. He would cut my hair, take me back. When it was time to
Mm.
go, I didn't want to leave. The environment was just so cool. And like,
Yeah.
man, I'm sitting in this cubicle. I'm not enjoying what I'm doing. I'm not passionate about it. So fast forward less than a year, I ended up during the summers I was off. So I had conversation with my wife. I said, "What do you think about if I go to the shop with Lil Aush for the summer, cut with him, and do that part time?" So she was like, "Well, why would you pay booth rent when you got a barbershop?" Because when we bought our home, I had a barbershop built off the garage. She said, "Why would you give money to a barbershop?" I said, "Well, I started beard culture, apparel, and whatnot. I said, I want to get from behind these four walls and just kind of expand, and also the environment." She didn't think it was a good idea until the first week I came home with that change, and she's
With
seen
that moolah.
yeah, she's seen the possibilities because she thought it would be taken away, and that was my fear for a long time too. So I'm in this barbershop, and I always wanted to go to a barber show, but I never went to a barber show because I never wanted to go by myself. And guys in the area, they weren't really going. So the owner, me and him was cool, and I said, man, I want to go to this barber shop. What you think about asking the other fellas? So out of seven of us, only two of us ended up going, and that was Bronner Brothers 2019,
Okay.
and it changed my life. That was
Hmm.
the first show I had ever been, and it was the first time that I realized cutting hair was not a hustle, and it was actually a career. And I
Mm.
was watching guys. I met Yusuf for the first time. I had been following him. He and I linked up, got cool. I went to his class. And so when I sat in class and I went to different classes, just learning some things, and then creating, relationships, meeting people, I just looked at it different. So I came back home and I had this battery in my back. So the job I was working, because I was working part time in the barbershop, I gave
Mm.
them a 2 week notice, talked to my wife, gave them a 2 week notice, and it was history. Got in the barbershop, cutting there, had some plans with the owner, but COVID came, shut down.
Wait, wait,
Couldn't
wait, wait,
cut.
wait, wait. You quit your job in the school,
Yeah, I quit my job
right?
in the school.
right around COVID.
Soon as I got back, soon as I got back from in 2019, as soon as I got back from Bronner Brothers, I
Uh
gave my
huh.
2 week notice. I already knew I wanted to cut full time, but it was at that point that I knew I was all in. What no more part time barber. That it was over with.
So you wasn't. So what at that hair show? Who who threw the dart at you to make you say that you're gonna go back home and quit a job that you have a stable income to go and work in a barber shop where it may be iffy, even though you showed your wife that you could make that money during
Absolutely.
the summer.
Um, like I said, just watching the guys, me and Yusuf talked. I watched his grind. You know, Yusuf and I have become really cool. He was that first barber that I watched on Instagram, down to earth, and so he and I talked. He's been really supportive. I watched him. I watched him in the class. I watched him with his vendor booth, and I just watched a number of people. Tune 45 was there. It was my first time meeting Beam. Um, I seen what was in it, Yandy from um,
Love and hip hop.
Love and Hip Hop. You know, I don't think she had started her line, but she may have, but she was in the building. You see all these people, and you see everybody is. No one was too big to hustle. Everybody was after it. You
Yeah.
know, it was like that grassroots, and just the environment, and it let me know that anything was possible as long as you don't take no for an answer. And so I
Mhm.
knew when I got home, I was so tired with the job that I was dealing with. I was dealing with depression, some anxiety. I was just totally unhappy. And
Mhm.
so I felt like if I would have continued to work that job I was working, that I probably would have stroked out. I probably wouldn't be here. The level of stress was that high, right? And
Wow.
so I just knew when I came home that I had to bet on self, and my wife was supportive of that. And as long as I had that, I was good. Um, and I put them 2 weeks in, and it was a wrap. So
Wow.
then the pandemic comes, we shut down. But I've always had a barber shop in my home, even before we bought this home. Our last home before that, you know what I'm saying? I had a barber shop. So when we moved in, we closed on the house. I didn't cut for like a week, week and a half. Had some guys build barber shop out there, got it built, and so I had an environment to cut. And so we were kind of at a crossroad because we visit Atlanta quite a bit, and Atlanta is my inspiration. The thought of the podcast came to me when I was in Atlanta. Beard Culture Apparel came to me when I was in Atlanta. Going full time as a barber came to me when I was in Atlanta. Just
Wow.
the vibe, right?
Uh
And
huh.
so I just knew that I was willing to go full throttle, and if I'm willing to work hard and put in overtime for somebody else, then I was willing to do double for myself. So when it closed down, the thought was, look, baby, either we're gonna relocate or I'm gonna open a shop. And so I ended up opening a shop. God blessed me with the perfect opportunity, and we opened the shop, and it's been rolling.
Wow, that's amazing, bro. So when the pandemic came and you decided to build out the shop, was you not afraid of getting sick?
So the build my shop in my house was already built out.
Okay.
So I didn't cut full time. It was just some of my people that I've been cutting for a number of years. Now, you know, not funny, but I caught COVID a total during the peak of COVID. I caught COVID 3 times. The first
Really?
time, yeah, first time I had to go on the last day of quarantine, and I had to actually go to the emergency room. So yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So and I did everything. I masked up. I did everything. So um, it wasn't so much the money as much as it was that people who had depended on me for a number of years were like, man, I still got to go to work, and you know, and so on. And I really felt like we were essential. People, you know, I got people who, you know, are doctors. I got real estate. I got every walk of life in regards to clients, and so it was
Hmm.
more about servicing those that needed to be serviced. So I wasn't going full throttle, but I was still honestly cutting,
Okay.
and and
Okay.
and and I paid the price for it. I did. I
Three
got COVID.
times.
Yeah, yeah.
That's crazy. I mean, I've caught COVID. I think I caught COVID once, officially one time, and I gave it to the whole family. I wasn't cutting hair, so when we shut down in New York, it's
Hmm.
crazy because I saw it happening, right? And I was telling
Right.
all the barbers in the shop, I said, "Listen, guys, they're about to shut us down. Like I already see what's going on. These
Right.
these numbers is going up." And all the barbers in my shop was like just so naive about everything.
Right.
So I contact all my clients, and the week before they shut it down, I had that chair just spinning, right?
Right.
So then they made they had put out on the news, I think that Saturday or Sunday, that
Hmm.
everybody gonna be shut down.
Right.
So I was cutting all week, then Saturday came, then Sunday was the last day at 12 o'clock. Everything had to be shut down, but
Right.
I was still working at my daytime job at the airport.
Right.
So when we were shut down, I was good. I didn't cut nobody for 3 months.
Right.
I didn't know what was going on in the world. I was just going to Delta and going from Delta to my house and going food shopping, and that was it.
Right.
I didn't know that people were still outside at the liquor store.
Right.
The Chinese restaurant was still
Right.
open.
Right.
The some of my barber dudes was doing, they was doing mobile. I'm like,
Right.
I was like shut off from the world.
Right.
And I know that the first barber that died that we got word about was like right at the beginning of the pandemic. So that really scared me because I was like, oh, somebody in my industry died. If he died, then I could possibly die. So I was like, I wasn't going to jeopardize. I wasn't going to chance it. But I caught COVID at working at the airlines.
Right.
Came
Right.
home sick and gave it to the whole family. But thank God everybody was good, right?
Right.
Um, it's funny. You said that you went to these hair shows, and I tell people all the time, when you need something to fuel you, something to just give you some kind of inspiration, a hair show is it. I don't care if it's a
Right.
small one or a big one,
Right.
but
Right.
just coming up out of your comfort zone and your everyday existence to go to do something different and
Right.
and the experience the people that you see online. The fact that you said that you created your apparel line and your podcast, what made you want to do it? Because I know you went to the hair show, seeing everybody else selling shirts, selling hats and stuff, but what made you want to do it?
So I created the beard culture apparel early. Well, in at the end of 17, and everything kind of, I took flight with everything in 2018. And the
Huh.
story behind that is I was um, at Atlanta Barber and Beauty Supply because that's where I had always, for a number of years, I had always ordered my supplies. So for a long time, I didn't know what it was, a storefront. And I came to Atlanta and realized it was a storefront. So I was
Huh.
there, and I seen this. I was taking my son because he graduated barber school, and he was getting
Mhm.
ready to go into the barbershop. So I just wanted to bring him to Atlanta. My whole family came, wanted to bring him to Atlanta to see the culture of barber. So we're in
Mhm.
Atlanta Barber and Beauty Supply, and I see this brother with a beard hat on. I'm like, bro, where you get that hat? Because I wanted one, because I had been rocking a beard. Like, long story short, it was a long time. I didn't get a full beard until my late 30s. Like, I
Uh huh.
never thought I would be able to grow. It wouldn't grow.
Uh
You
huh.
know what I'm saying? So now I'm rocking a beard. I'm like, dope, man, that's a dope hat. Where you get it? Man, my homeboy in Florida, he give me the information, you know,
What did
always
the hat
sold out.
say?
Huh?
What did the hat say?
It was like dope beard or something.
Okay.
And I'm looking all around, so I'm looking for stuff, can't find. I said, man, look, I'm gonna just create my own. But the thought came from that situation when I was in Atlanta at Atlanta Barber and Beauty Supply.
Uh
And
huh.
so that was already created before I was full time in the barbershop.
Okay.
So that was something, and that's where the name of the barbershop, of my barbershop, went. Because at one time, 70s, you would see brothers with beards, but then it became like a biker thing, more Caucasians. But then it became a world phenomenon. Color out the game, right? Everybody, black, white, yellow, purple, everybody rocking beards. And
Mm.
so everywhere I would go, see people with beards. They look, man, you got a nice beard. So it became like a fraternity. And so I felt like, what I'm saying, let me create something um, that's cross cultural that everybody can relate to, and that's where beard culture was born.
That's what's up. That's
Yep.
what's
Yep.
up.
Yep.
So what made you want to do the podcast? Because there's a lot of people, there's a lot of barber podcasts out there. Um, some start up and
Mhm.
continue, some start and they end. What made you want to do a podcast?
So we started the podcast. It 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 wasn't many that had been out there at that time.
Mhm.
Um, and so we were one of the maybe 3 to 5 that were out there. Period. I'm big on autobiographies and documentaries. Right. I love to delve into people's lives and their story because I pull inspiration because I'm like most brothers we know, no matter where you're from, you know what I'm saying. I grew up in an urban area, didn't have much, um, single parent home, the whole nine, right?
Mhm.
And so I gained inspiration, career wise, feeling like, man, I hear somebody's story, and if they made it out, then I feel like I can make it as well. And
Mhm.
so I wanted to hear people's stories, and also I wanted to be able to allow their stories to shed light and inspire and motivate other people. And it was bigger than barbering; it was just from the standpoint of barbering, because you know the thing is, it's so the average person doesn't get an opportunity to do what we do, and that's make a living doing what we're passionate about and what we love to do. And
Yeah.
so I was just trying to inspire, even though that was our lane. So many people doing so many different things can take from what it is that we do, that we're doing what we're passionate and fulfilling our purpose. And so it was really just about, man, tapping into other barbers, worldwide, and seeing their story and just inspiring myself as well. And
Okay.
so shout out to my guy Shy, my boy Kenny Jenkins. He and I started, but then me and Shy, we started to host and co-host together, and it ran for about 3 years, man. What people don't realize about the podcast, my boy AO, he did it for a while. AO, the Ace of Phase. It's a lot of work, man. It's a lot of work. And then I know it was a time like you had posted, people want, to be paid for it. And it's like, we're not making money. You would like to make money at some point in time, but we're not making money off the platform. It was more about the purpose, the passion, the inspiration, and motivation for me, and allowing these people to spread their story. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Because you never know who you touch. And at one point, I agree with you. Sometimes it gets a little Hollywood. You know, we depend on the people, and like you said earlier, thank you to all the clients, because if it's not for them, we're servants of the community. If it's
Yep.
not for the people we cut, we can't feed our families. And I think because of social media, sometimes people lose sight of that.
Yep.
And so it's like, man, you ain't getting ready to eat off me and build off me. And and we have a problem with that as humans, and a lot in our culture as well.
Absolutely.
I always want to share whatever knowledge, experience I have to help the next person grow if I can. You know what I
That's a
mean?
fact.
And so
So
that's what it was about.
what made you stop doing the podcast?
To be honest, man, just the time, man, going through life was life. Um,
Uh,
I would have liked to have brought it back. I think I had to take a pause, and I think, it wasn't the same time that Shy, wanted to take a pause. And I
uh-huh.
think life just, you know, life was life. And sometimes, you know, um, home needed attention, and that's where my priority is. You know what
Okay.
I'm saying? So,
How many episodes did you guys do?
man, we did a lot, man. We rocked out, man. We had Chris Styles out of Memphis. Chris Styles, he partners with Penny Hardaway and has a barbershop. He's Yo Gotti. That's his brother-in-law. He's Yo Gotti's barber, and
Okay.
their whole team. Out of Memphis, we had Hunter Barber, which is one of my favorite barbers. We had Yusuf, the Marcus Harvey. We had 360 GT, Wavy Kid, Kev. Um, Basio made an appearance. We had Poppy Bean.
Woo.
Um,
Big
man,
names. Yeah,
man,
big names
man,
on there.
man, we had. OG Walker. We had some heavy hitters, man, and we had some really good content. We had some really good gems. Um, and for those I'm missing, we had um, She Cuts Me. She was the one and only barber in the bubble, the NBA bubble. She's
Mhm.
out of Milwaukee. My girl's native barber, Stacy Lynn. She was in Chicago now. She's in Arizona. Um,
Wow.
Euphoric Fades. We had I forget Smash. We had Smash the Legend. We
How
had
you get smashed?
Smash, man, and that's like, also I'm a barber connoisseur. So
Yeah.
I ain't just like, I love and I give flowers. So I got my favorite barbers. Smash is one of my favorite barbers,
Yeah.
and so getting him on, and all these guys had my boy, my chair's doing 360, out of the swag shop. Um,
Wow. Wow.
man, had man, we had some heavy hitters, man. Um,
So
I'm
so
I'm I am the barber plug came on.
okay.
Um, yeah, we had, yeah, Tank,
So
B
so DJ
Choppin, Dre
DJ
Cuts.
asks
hmm
DJ asks when is it coming back then?
DJ was on there.
Oh, he was on there.
Man, I got love for that dude. I'm waiting to meet him. DJ was on there. Him and my guy Shy
Oh,
um,
oh
clicked up, and that's how I met DJ. Yeah, DJ got on with us. Man, very insightful brother. And to be honest, man, me and Shy kind of lost contact, man, and I really need to reach back out to him and just kind of chop it up. You know what I'm saying? Just on some brother to brother. I was really going through some tough times, and I'm not sure if he understood how tough the times were that I was really going through. But
uh-huh.
for what we did, I always have love for him, and I would love to bring it back because it was something that I love doing, man. Because it's
Yeah.
just about paying homage and and the respect to the people. Andre Roth, man, it was so many. If you go back to, and our the page is still up, man.
Yep.
We had a lot of good um content. Even one of my favorite episodes was one of my clients and friends here locally. He's a state farm agent for
Mhm.
almost 35 years, and we
Uh-huh.
talked about life insurance, things that we don't talk about enough
Uh-huh.
in our industry, when it comes to financial literacy and the things, because, you know, being a cash
Yeah.
business, even though we get that money electronically. So, yeah, so you get a chance, go back, man. We had some and I know I'm missing some people, and
Of course.
charge it to the mind and not the heart, because man, it was a privilege to have everybody that we had on. It meant everything.
So that's amazing. So with with you doing the apparel line and then doing the podcast and then I got wind of you. I think it was before Bronner Brothers that just passed, and then I know I saw you at the Natural Hair Show.
Right.
Um, and you premiered the Evolution of the Barber documentary. What made you come up with that? Do you have a film background? Do you
I
have you
don't. I
dibble
don't.
and dab into communication? How did you come
I
up with
don't.
this?
Man, dig this. God, me and my wife are huge documentary fan. I used to be a big sports guy. I told you I was a hooper. That was my
Hmm.
thing, and I coached for 11 years. Like, that was my thing. That
Hmm.
was my childhood. I wanted to be in the league. You know what I mean? Um, but it transitioned to, and I always like autobiographies, but it was sports figures, and then it transitioned. And so, loving to be inspired and motivated and hearing people's personal stories. And so it just piggybacked off of the podcast. And
Hmm.
so having my uncle, I told you my uncle was a longtime barber. Me and my wife went to New Orleans a couple years ago. That's where my father was born. And so his side of the family originated in Magnolia, Mississippi. Then they moved to New Orleans, and then they migrated to Illinois.
Uh-huh.
And I ended up finding out my dad had gave me a little backstory, but not a whole lot. But I met a cousin, my dad's first cousin, and found out not only was my uncle a barber, but my grandmother, my dad's mother, two of her brothers were barbers. One had a barber shop in Jackson, Mississippi. Him and his son cut together, and then when he passed, the son took over until he passed. So I have two of my sons are licensed barbers, and we cut in the shop together now. So
Wow, that's
you know
amazing.
that saying it's not on me; it's in me. You know,
Yeah.
it's a part of my DNA, and so um, one of the guys that my uncle cut with is still living. He's the only living barber out of that crew,
Uh-huh.
and he serves as a mentor and inspiration to me. And so I wanted to pay homage to him, but I just had this idea like, man, we don't as many documentaries as me and my wife watch. I've only seen two barber documentaries. One was about my man cut Jay-Z and Pharrell,
Are you talking about
Johnny Cape.
Johnny
Johnny
Cakes?
Cape. He did one, and it was more so. Even though he went to Africa, it was more so about him and just the celebrity of it all. And then there was one a long time ago that was based out of New Jersey and New York. And I got it burned on a DVD, and I watched it until the DVD was no good. And this before I was, barbering to that degree. And so I'm just like, man, as popular as we are online, as much as we move the world, we're the plug. Everything moves through us. If you're getting married, you need us. If you're going to an interview, you need us. If you're going to the club, you need us. You know what I'm saying? We're the plug. And so it's like, for me, let me pay homage and let's bring us to the forefront, because we deserve to be celebrated. You know what I'm saying? And contrary to what people believe, we are essential. Because I know, it's an argument whether we're essential. This is, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? And we've gone so much bigger than just being community figures. So I'm like, okay, let me get some of your favorite your barber's favorite barbers, and let's get this going. And the brothers that it's so many people that I want to do, and I got some ideas with it. But Atlanta has been so good to me, and y'all brothers have been so good to me there that I had to start it there. And these guys were in Hollywood. I'm like, look, I got this idea. This is what I want to do. Everybody that was part of it, let's go. Say less. Wasn't no questions like, what's your purpose? You trying to make money? Was no question. Let's do it. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? And it turned out, and so it's crazy because the videographer is a childhood friend, and he went to school for it, and he moved to Hollywood to try to do his thing, and he ended up coming back, had a daughter. He got into the school system too, and he was coaching
Mm.
girls basketball. Well, he comes to the shop one day. Is like, look, man, I ain't doing ball no more. I'm getting back to the camera. I'm trying to do a short documentary short to a contest for BET, and I thought about you and little Aush as father and son. Well,
Oh.
he didn't meet the deadline, but I was explaining to him then, man, it's so crazy you saying that because this is my vision. Before he could even say anything, his wife was like, "It's good, let's do it." And so I started reaching out, man, and so God put us together, man, and he traveled to Atlanta with us, man. We knocked it out in a couple days, and for everybody, every barber, and anybody that relates to the hair industry, and I'm not saying it just because it's me.
Hmm.
This documentary is dope,
It
and,
is.
and it is super dope, and it shows all the possibilities. It deals with some history, and it shows that we don't have a ceiling, right? It's a super dope documentary, and it hasn't gotten the shine
Mhm.
that it deserves at this point. And if you're a barber, I can't understand a barber especially not watching, but just anybody who's into the culture, and you know it's super dope.
That's what's
You know,
up. That's what's up.
yeah.
So you had somebody shoot it.
Uh-huh.
Everybody that was involved with it, all the barbers was just open to do it. Nobody asked for no bread. Nah, I'm a celebrity dude. You got to give me this and that. They was just open to, what, we see what you trying to do and we want to be a part of it. That was done, and you premiered it at the natural hair show at the Fleet
So
Watch Natural Hair
so
Show.
so dig this. this is how I really knew that I was nervous, but I knew it was good. I premiered it first at home
Mhm.
because my people were closest to me. You know, they wasn't gonna lie to me. I ain't you take it on the road. I premiered it at the actual theater twice.
Really?
Sold out the first time.
Co- Seems to
Yeah,
that.
appreciate it.
Okay.
Um, so they packed it in, man. We had a premiere, and so I wanted to bring it to Atlanta because that was the first time all the barbers had a chance to see it. So
Uh huh.
when you the same time you seen it is the same time, you know, Marcus seen it. Same time Will. You see, he brought Marvy Marv. It was the first time that these guys had seen it, and so
Uh huh.
Marcus looked at me, and I think they were. I didn't. I don't think they knew what to expect. I don't think they knew it was going to be as dope as it was. It was. It was professional. It was well edited. um, you know, it was done well on a short budget. It really was. Um,
That's what's up.
and those guys made my dreams come true. And again, it's about like I didn't even want to be in it. Like my goal wasn't that my idea, but my man was like, it's the first one. The videographer, he was like, man, you gotta tell your story. You gotta be part of it.
Absolutely, of course.
This is you. Um, But man, I just get flowers, man. I love what we do, and I watch all these barbers. I watch all you guys, and it inspires me daily. It keeps me going. Being what's considered an older barber, but because I didn't start full time into 2019, so I'm fresh. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I got my legs. See, even though I have long days, I got my legs, man. I still got a battery in my back, and it's because of guys like yourself and the DJs and the Marcuses and the Uses. Um, you know, all these guys. You know, when I'm around the game, it's like being a kid in a candy store.
Hmm.
You know.
That's amazing, brother. I was just so happy because one, I heard about the documentary, and then I seen all of the press, all of the posts and stuff about it. Anything that you said post that I'm gonna pay attention to, and then when they were saying that they're gonna premiere it at the show, I was like, oh, they're about to do a screening. This is about to be fire. Like I've never seen that like that before. It was like going to watch Bad Boys 3 or something, and the fact that that they did it so well because they did the screening of it, and the room was packed. It was like, shh, be quiet, got it. You know what I'm saying? It was like we was at theaters, and
Right.
then for them to turn the lights on, and then it was a Q&A.
Yeah,
That was amazing. Hopefully somebody has all that footage and they put it up somewhere,
man.
because it was just good to see men coming together to give each other flowers, and then there's no animosity in the room. Everybody is there for the love of barbering, and that's one of the things I seen. They say that Georgia is one of them places that just welcoming. Everybody comes from different places, and they come to Georgia for whatever reason, to just network and fellowship. And it's always been that same type of talk that you come down here, and you get inspired, and you network, and then the people that you network with are all genuine, and they want to see you grow. Like I was talking to Marcus last night. And it's just like people are just that genuine down here that they want to see you win. And the fact that we need to get the evolution of the Barber documentary out there. So we got to start talking about it more, letting people know that it's there, because every barber shop should see it. It should be on you. It should be watched in YouTube. It need to be shown in every barber school. It's just like these are the things that I know that is needed.
Man, and you hit it on the head, and so my goal too is also even to spread it, to middle schools and high schools, because it's the golden era of barbering.
Hmm.
And not only is it something that we have a lot of passion about in our communities, but
Hmm.
it's something that it can create a really good living. It can be lucrative, and I don't think it's pushed enough. Like I said, here we didn't have a barber school for 40 years. So for the kids to know that everybody's not going to go to a 4-year college, but there are alternatives. You can be a carpenter, you can be a plumber, electrician, but you can be a barber. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and I remember it would have been a time where, you know, you're getting out of high school. Well, my son going to university. Well, where's your barber college? You kind of put your head down. But I'm proud to be a barber, man, and it means a lot to me. You know what I'm saying? And I wear this. I wear this proudly. You know what I'm saying? And it's an amazing industry, and so I really want to just spread it. You know what I mean? Just really spread the word what we're doing, and those guys who played a part of it, you know, with the documentary, it was just head on. And it was the crazy part is there was no scripts. I didn't send anybody any questions before, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't send one barber one question that would be in the documentary before it aired. I mean, before we
Mm.
taped it, not one. So
Wow.
everything was authentic. Everything was legitimate, you know. And Marcus, man, that dude is hilarious, and Will is just a wordsmith. It all fit in,
Yeah.
and it was so cool because my wife, after the second time watching, she was like, you know what I noticed? She was like, all of them do the same thing. They're all barbers, but they have their own lanes. And so she was saying that to say it's enough room for everybody, because in the community that I live in, it ain't a lot of barber love. It's a lot of competition, you know what I mean? And it's unfortunate because it's enough room for everybody. I can't cut all the heads, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the inspiration that Bronner Brothers in the game has given me, it's allowed me to be successful so far in what I'm doing. Our barbershop has been open, Beard Culture Barbershop and Gallery has been open 4 years. It's
Mm.
been the local barbershop of the year, two times. We won second and third place. We won first place for Black Barbershop of the Year. Like it's been crazy, man.
That's a,
It's
that's
been crazy. We
amazing.
get a lot of love. You know, my books are packed out 2 weeks to a month in advance. Like this has been beautiful, and God's timing is everything.
So
You
you
know
got
what I'm
no
saying?
regrets for quitting
Absolutely.
the public school system.
Only regrets is maybe that I didn't do it a little sooner. You know what I mean? But God's timing,
Yeah.
because you know what I'm saying? Like I'm rolling with it. And now the thing with me being older and having my two sons, and we have a young Hispanic named Alan. He's super cold. And we just got another one of my guys to join. Me and him are same age range. You know, family's been knowing each other, but really able to give my sons and the younger barber, able to give them gems that I learned and things that I went through in terms of, we're talking financial literacy, retirements, IRAs, all the things that are important, because so many of us will make money in this industry, but then when we leave with nothing.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And it's unfair. And so that's part of, you know, just why I want to shed light on it, man. And like I said, I think everybody should see the documentary and pass it forward, because it's powerful, man. And it has some powerful players, and I thank those guys. And also what you talked about with the premiering of it, that slot was Yusuf's slot to do a class.
Mm.
And Yusuf had an idea. He hit me, said, "Man, this is the idea I got, man. Let me work my number." So he gave up his class slot to show and premiere the documentary, and that meant everything. And
Wow.
like I said, those guys wasn't no Hollywood, wasn't no, you know, I'm too big to do this. It wasn't none of that. Everything was all about humbleness and humanity, man. And
Yes.
and I think we have more of that in this industry than people realize. But you know, twos and fews kind of make it look a little different, man. But this is a beautiful industry to be a part of, and I'm thankful for.
That's what's up. Where can they find the documentary at?
So so the dope thing, Folsom TV, which is a streaming platform, picked it up, right?
Uh.
But what happened is we don't have a lot of communication, a million commercials. So I said, look, I'm just, because it's not even about money. So I just ended up putting a link on the podcast page. So you can go to YouTube and subscribe to the I Cut My Way Out podcast page,
Uh huh.
and you can watch the documentary, no interruptions. you can also watch past interviews that we've done with the podcast as well. And so the link, free link, is right there on YouTube. And man, check it out and pass it. Give us your feedback.
Uh-huh.
And definitely got more in store with that, with the documentary. Not just that documentary, but some more ideas pertaining to it. And so, man, it has legs. So we're gonna make it run.
That's amazing, my brother. So around this time in my interview, I do something called Barber questions.
Okay.
I got 5 questions. It's gonna be rapid questions. I just want you
Okay.
to answer them, and
Okay.
we're gonna get your perspective on it, right? So the
hmm
first question I always ask is, what is your top 5 clipper companies?
Um, Andis, Wall, Babeless.
Hmm.
Um, I started using the TPOB. I'm really liking that play, not the trimmer so much, but the clipper.
Okay.
And then I got to give my black brother, Mariko Simpson, 4 mass.
For my eyes. Okay.
You know what
Shout
I'm
out to
saying?
Rico. Yes.
Yeah, Rico's my guy, so I still use his clipper.
Okay.
But I'm a clipper connoisseur, man. So they laugh at me. I got like 20 pair of clippers on my station, man.
Me too.
So I
Me too.
and I use them all, man, because I used to be being a hooper. I used to be a shoe guy. Now I'm a clipper guy.
Ain't
That,
nothing
that,
wrong with that.
that that's what
Ain't nothing
makes
wrong
me
with
go, man.
that.
Cologne and clippers, man. Those are my two favorite. Those are my guilty pleasures.
Okay. Second question I got for you is, what's the difference between a barber and a hair cutter?
To me, a hair cutter hasn't put in the time to be professional. When you're willing and when you have the discipline and you're willing to go get your license and do what you need to do to be a licensed professional, I think that means a lot. People don't let and people say it's apples and oranges. You're not gonna let an unlicensed dentist pull no teeth. You're not gonna let
Hmm.
an unlicensed doctor do any surgeries, and so. Um, Putting that time in to become professional is everything. And then I tell the young guys too, a lot of states have reciprocity agreements. So, if you want to move states and you want to take your show on the road, now you have social media where you can provide your portfolio. There's benefits to that. So I think it's a
Yeah,
big difference between, being professional and being just a haircutter. You're just doing it to get the bread. You're not putting the time in.
that's a fact. That's a whole fact. Question I got for you is, does being on social media convert to gaining new clients?
It can. What I try to get my youngins to understand, with Instagram, one thing, Yusuf, before I really started using Instagram, and all that in that 2019 when I came, I started using Instagram, the whole thing, man. Before that, I wasn't even using Instagram. But one thing Yusuf told me was like, make sure that you post what you want to attract. So, if you're cutting kids or you're cutting beards or you're posting that. And I simultaneously use my Facebook because to me, Facebook is more regional, yeah, well, more local, I would say.
Hmm.
So I have a lot of people who interact with me on Facebook that are on Instagram but don't have the same interaction. So I used to put stuff up. I put a shirt up. And when I put a new shirt up, new beard culture, I get somebody to order it from the town or whatever, or put a haircut up, somebody will book a haircut. So I think it can be beneficial as long as you don't get it confused and you're not doing everything. I want the young barbers to understand likes doesn't equal the number of people that you're putting in your seat. And so
Absolutely.
don't get that twisted because likes don't make you a successful barber because I think, there are a lot of barbers who don't have I don't have, you know, a large following. I got maybe 3,000 followers on Instagram, but I'm telling you, barbering has been good to me.
Facts.
Barbering has been really good.
Hmm.
So I stay booked up. I have a heavy clientele, and it provides a good living. And I'm thankful to God. I'm thankful to all the barbers that inspire me. Um, I'm just thankful.
That's a fact. Question I got for you is, where do you see the industry in 5 years?
So the industry in 5 years, man, I don't think there are any limits, man. What I would like to see more of, and I know it's been a conversation, I would like to see more unity. Um, I would like to see the gap bridge between um, the older barbers and the younger barbers. Um, but creativeness never goes out of style,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what this industry is. And so um, I can't say for sure, but there's no ceiling on it. You know, we have the ability, you know, to go anywhere with it, and I think with these younger barbers, you know, it's in good hands. But you know, you want to learn at the same time from older barbers too, because you know we can learn from younger barbers as well as younger barbers being able to learn from us.
Absolutely. That's
You
a,
know,
yep. You said it right. You said it right.
yeah.
My final question I got for you is, what kind of barber are you?
I would consider myself I'm a professional barber. I'm big on being on time. I'm big on dependability. You know, skill. One of the things, and me and Big Lazy, um, he's out of the Chicago area. You familiar? Um,
Big Lazy.
yeah,
I see his name on there. I
yeah,
don't know who
yeah.
it is.
That's a man. Check him out. Check him out.
Okay.
Super dope guy. Super dope barber. Him and his brothers, and you know they have a saying: skills alone don't cut it.
Mm.
You have to have more to you. And I think that's extremely important. So I've seen barbers that may not be as skilled, but the other characteristics that are necessary um, in a professional setting they have. And so they have been successful. So I'm a well rounded barber and I'm a professional barber. You know what I mean? You put me in any shop, I'm going to hold my own across the board. I can keep a good conversation. You know what I'm saying? I'm cool. I get down with the Clippers. I know how to treat people right, and in return, that has been it has done well for me.
Okay. That's great, bro. You were saying that the first hair show you went to was in 2019 with the Barnum Brothers.
Yep.
What other hair shows have you attended?
I went to CT Expo. Been to MLB in Nashville. I have to think. I've been to some other ones, but I definitely now I have a full team. The goal is to get out to more, um, to get the younger barbers. For me, one of the things for me, the networking and things are absolutely amazing, you know. But I think one of the things for me that piques my interest at my age is learning more or more being available on the business side, you know, the financial side. And I think a lot of the young guys that it would if it's presented right and the right people in the rooms, it can be extremely beneficial um, to those young guys as well. Because, you know, a lot of money comes through our hands, but a lot of times, you know, we don't do the right thing with it. I'll be honest with you. When I was
Hmm.
cutting time and I was working in the school system, I didn't save a dollar from barber. I'm gonna be totally honest. It was like a hustle. This was just that money gonna go out to eat. It's gonna provide Christmas. It's gonna do all these things because I
Yep.
was doing the part time, you know. But I didn't have anybody at that point in time telling me. You know, I had my benefits with the job. I had all those things, right? And so that helps me be a little more disciplined. So having health insurance and life insurance, home ownership, all these things I have. But for me, it was one of those things that I transitioned from working a 9 to 5, where a lot of people like my sons, they just jumped off into the industry. They really haven't had any other jobs. This is
Mm.
probably going to be their bread and butter. And so for, you know, people like that really getting an understanding of things that of how to invest your money and do right by the money that you get, because you know social media can be a great thing, but also it can send you off a cliff. You know, you
Yeah.
want the Louis, you want the Gucci, but don't own your home, or
Yep.
don't have a car, don't have health insurance or life insurance, those type of things. So for me, I think those are some important things to have class wise that would help draw um, a more well-rounded um, fan base to the shows.
That's a fact. Well, I definitely thank you, my brother, for taking the time out to come on Radio Shop Podcast to drop some gems and to just let people know who you are and what you bring to the table with this amazing documentary and your years of experience in this barber industry and still wanting to learn, wanting to network, wanting to keep it growing, and you implementing it and you introducing it to your sons and them taking it to the next level. So, us here at Radio Sharp Podcast, we love to give our OGs they flowers while they can smell them, and we just want to commend you, my brother, for everything that you have done and the things that you're going to do in the future. And we can't wait to see the next part of the documentary that you're going to do, to just because the history has to be told. There's so many
Absolutely.
barbers out there that have brought some things to the industry for us,
Right.
and we
That's
don't
true.
know who they are and what they did, but they have a story, and I know that you and me, we out here doing the Lord's work, keeping this barber thing going, and I'm just so excited to be able to cross paths with you,
I
meet you in
appreciate it.
person, chop it up, and now we building this community, this bond, and we're gonna just keep it going and pushing it forward. So I just
Absolutely.
want to say thank you, my
And,
brother, for taking the
and
time out.
and I greatly appreciate it. Can I say one more thing?
Of course.
Man, I had an epiphany a while ago, but it really set in. So earlier this week, I got a call. I got a call from a friend and the same person who does my taxes, and she said my uncle um, is in the hospital and he's not doing so well. And he needs a haircut.
Mhm.
So fast forward, it ends up being my cousin, her dad. So basically, we're not cousin through blood, but her sister was my first cousin. So we grew up like cousins, and her mother and my mother were very close friends. And she
Mhm.
lives in California. So she calls. It happens to be her father. Needs a haircut. I want him to get a haircut. He's not doing so well, but I know it's going to help him. And he's been wanting a haircut. He hasn't had one since the last time he was in your shop. It's been, about a year, and I know this will
Wow.
help him feel good. So our schedules are connecting. She, weren't connected. She said, "Can you come Saturday?" And part of me really didn't, I don't like being in that environment. Not that I didn't want to cut his hair, but
Yeah.
I got up Saturday and I went to the hospital and I cut his hair. When I left, I didn't know him like that. You know what I'm saying? When I left and I told him, thank you for the honor of cutting your hair. He really couldn't talk and get things out. But it was the most alert he had been the whole time I was there. And he gave me this look in his eyes and it was saying thank you. I get a call from my cousin yesterday and 1 a.m. in the morning on Sunday, he died.
Wow.
And it was almost like he was waiting for that haircut. And so I just want to remind people to understand that we're not bigger than this. We're servants of the community,
Mm.
and social media can make us feel bigger. Know your worth, but understand if it's not for the people that we serve, we wouldn't be in this position. And we're doing God's work. You know what I mean? And so
Right.
that's extremely important. It hit me heavy, but I realized that I was honored and blessed to be called to give him his last and final haircut, and that meant a lot. And it lets me know that I'm doing God's work, and I have a purpose, and God is making sure that I fulfill my purpose.
That's a fact. And I definitely want to leave all the barbers out there, stylists out there, anybody that's providing a service. Whenever you put your hands on somebody, you just don't never know what you're doing for them. You don't know how you can take them out of their funk, how you can make them feel better than what they've been feeling. You don't know who's on the brink of suicide just because of what they got going on. And when you have the opportunity to provide a service and have somebody in a chair, I want you guys out there to show them with the most up respect possible. Be on time, service them right. You know, give them that experience that we all deserve. And that's that man's last haircut. You know what I'm saying? That was his last time that he was going to be serviced by somebody in the flesh. And it's just one of those things that's very important. So we take it for granted. Customers that we get in the chair, sometimes we be so upset at customers being late and
Right.
doing no call, no shows, and be like, they need me. No, we need them just as much as they need us, and we just need to just keep that out there. And I want you guys out there to have that understanding that
Right.
we are given this talent, whatever it is, to make people feel good, look good, and we have to not take that for granted. So that's what I wanted to just say. So man, I definitely appreciate you, my brother, for just dropping a whole bunch of gems. I can't wait to chop this up and just put it out there to the masses, so they can really get a great perspective. And we're gonna keep pushing you up. We're gonna keep pushing the documentary up. We're gonna keep lifting you up, and I hope to see you at one of these barber events very
Absolutely.
soon.
Absolutely, man. I definitely want to stay locked in, man, and communicate, man. And I appreciate you, man. It was genuine the first time I met you, and man, I greatly appreciate you and the honor of being on your platform, man. I really
Yes,
do.
sir. So just tell the people out there where they can find you at.
So you can find me on Instagram, Aush the Barber. Find me on TikTok. Beer Culture Bar before, and on Facebook, Ashra Knox. That's my government name. So I'm
Yes,
on,
yes, sir.
on all those platforms. Check out the I said the icon. I was getting ready to give this feel like it's my podcast. I'm sorry. The evolution of the barber, the art, the craft, and the culture. An amazing documentary, man, with some amazing barbers. You can find it on YouTube, the I Cut My Way Out podcast page. Check it out, man, and give your support and give your feedback. Anything that they would want to see, any ideas, I greatly welcome any feedback.
Yes, sir. And I'm definitely gonna put it up on my stories today. I'm gonna put the link so everybody can go to the YouTube and watch that documentary today. If you in a barber shop, make sure you put it on the big screen. Make sure you guys take a picture of y'all watching it and tag us in it so we can put it up on our stories.
Right.
Cause this is how we get it out to the masses.
And,
So
and,
this your
and
boy
just
Terry the
in that
Barber.
I'm
Go ahead.
sorry.
Go
Now I
ahead. Go ahead.
just want to shout out. Um, of course, you got Yusuf Barber, you got Demarcus Harvey, you got Jock, my chairs doing 360s, Renaissance Rob 75, Will Stam, and Israel Wright are all guys that participate in the documentary. So I want to give them their flowers and their shout
Salute.
out too.
That's a fact. That's a fact. So this your boy Terry the Barber, Radio Shop Podcast. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace.
Peace.
Yes, sir.